Very good. Sophie.
Wow, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for programming the film. As you said, it's my first time in Los Angeles. It's mythical. And I'll be very glad to meet you at the end of this film. It's a work of love and of so many other things that I'm really glad to share with you tonight, this afternoon. And so if you wish to stay, comment, question, exchange, whatever, I'd love to hear you. So thank you. Have a good screening.
Thank you. And see you after the show. Thanks. We are so excited to have you here to talk about this movie. I think we can all agree that it was pretty spectacular. So I guess one of the questions I have for you is, in order for this movie to be successful, you had to have actors that had amazing chemistry in order to be, a family. You also needed actors who looked enough alike so that they could pull off the switch. So could you talk a little bit about how you chose your actors, how you found them, and how you built this family?
I found the family of Antigone via an open casting. So it was really, I was open to anyone who would fill like a form with questions and sending pictures. The characters in the film were aged between 16 and 21, but and I also was open to receive applications from either musicians or young people that were like willing to be part of such an adventure as it is to make a movie. And I received more than 800 applications.
Wow.
Yeah. And I read them all because they really had to answer questions, and I read them all. I saw with a colleague of mine 300 of them, and then you see the family I came up with. Yes, it's a lot of work, a lot of time, and once they were chosen, also a lot of time together to make this chemistry happen. And I would say the fact that they look alike was not so much a concern for me. It was more like their capacity of acting and be willing also to be part of this. I think we, as an audience, and myself too, we tend to believe a lot when it's crafted in a way that is made for to be believable. But I think we want to be told stories, and we want to believe.
I think that's a really good point. One of the things that I think makes it so believable as well as a movie about a social movement, about protests, is the art that's created in it. So can you tell me about how you created this amazing protest art, who was involved with that, and how you kind of did that?
Yes, when I did the casting, I wanted also to know who among this young population is would like to participate and has the energy, the talent, the will, and so I found a lot of great young people. But of course, it was there was a chief in it, someone who had to orient them, and so I did with this. And I have a 23-year-old son who is studying fine arts. So I had the help of.
I thought I saw his name in the credits.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was a lot into this artistic process in terms of visual, what we this face of Antigone that becomes a logo.
Yeah. One of the other questions you guys should start thinking of questions. I'm going to pass it off to you in a second. We want to definitely get you involved. But the source material is the Sophocles play Antigone. So how did you kind of decide to either base a modern play on the Sophocles play, or a modern film based off Sophocles, or did that come about after?
I read Antigone when I was in my early 20s, and it really struck me as a very powerful character. And at the time, I was studying literature. I didn't know I would make films, but I was really, I felt as a young woman very, very empowered by such a character with intelligence, dignity, and she was able to stand for what she believes in, and that was, I don't know, throughout history, art history, there aren't so many young women of such character, and so the first play I read was by Jean Anouilh, which is a French adaptation from the 1950s, and I immediately wanted to read Sophocles, and then I just thought, like, I didn't know I would make films, but I knew I would do, like, I would have to do with art, like, and I wanted to bring this character back and with the kind of material I wanted to work with in a contemporary way, because I felt it was telling so much about me, even if it was written more than 2,000 years ago. And it says so much about, like, feeling that there's something unjust, and I'm not saying that I am an Antigone. Of course, it's like a hero. She's like almost a saint, but a character I can turn my gaze to and feel proud of being a young woman with ideas and with a stance.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, wonderful. What struck me is it is a criticism to the Canadian legal system, where young people cannot have more opportunities, or is something intended or consequential in the film, because I feel like attracted to the message you want to give.
Well, and then when I had this, like, figure of Antigone in the back of my head, of my heart, but something that happened, like, it's a tragedy that happened in Montreal, but it happens in a lot of North American countries. A young man was gunned down by the police in a Montreal park, and his older brother was threatened of deportation, and I was, back then I was reading the comments online, because we could see some YouTube, and I was, I felt so ashamed of the kind of comments I would read, like a lot of racism and hatred, and I felt like there's something wrong here, like a family is going through a tragedy, and some people are just expressing hatred. I wasn't like, and I wanted to take the side of empathy, even if the young man that was threatened of deportation, he had a criminal record, but I wanted to think further about, like, where he's from and what he's been through that would lead to, like, his situation, and then the situation of the family, for the mother, for the sisters, and I just thought, okay, if one of the sisters was an Antigone, what would she do to keep the dignity of her family? So even if she gets to know that, like, her brothers are not perfect, and that's not the point. The point is that, like, there's a punishment that she feels is unfair, and yes. So it became like a criticism of our system, but at large, because I think most individuals aren't bad, but the system itself, it's very. It's like it's a wall. It's thick and it's very hard to shake.
Have you had a lot of reaction from immigrant communities, undocumented people, marginalized people about your movie?
Well, yes. The first one, the film premiered at TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival, and the programmer there, that's what he told me. He felt like he himself He's from Pakistan, and he related so much to what. Well, at first I think because he doesn't have the same kind of life, but only like seeing on screen people of like other like non-white people,
Right.
or like only that I think it feels very good and fair for a lot of people in Canada, which is a country with a lot of people originating from immigration or parents immigrants.
Yeah, representation, obviously, one of the reasons we show amazing movies like this. So thank you. Any other questions in the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell me where they were from? I know they had Greek names, but they were where were they from?
Yes, I kept it a bit vague, like where they're from, because I took a lot of liberties. At first, I wanted the family to be an immigrant family, but then when doing a film, you have at a certain point to decide, okay, what is their language, what is their color, what is their and then I came with, just by knowing that there were a lot like immigrants in Montreal from Kabylia, Algeria, which is a part of Algeria. So they don't speak Arabic. They speak Kabyle. And but I took a lot of liberties with first their ancient Greek names, and also some other liberties with, let's say, like the funerals that are a bit more like we traditionally do in Western countries, or like to show the body of the brother in the funeral. But at the same time, I feel like there's no culture that is exactly that state. Like we are all like influenced by where we live and what we know, what our parents have been through, and so.
Yeah, that's great. Yes.
I was going to ask, first of all, beautiful film. But I also noticed that you shot the film as well. And just wanted to know if you could talk a little bit about your experience doing that.
Yeah, good question. So you shot the film as well, which is
Yes.
beautiful.
Thank you. I started in film as a director of photography, mostly in documentaries. So it was natural for me to first listen to what I was shooting, like listen to people and like expecting how they would move, and at the same time figuring the light. And so when I wrote a script, and my first script, and I was about to shoot it, it was just natural for me to have the camera, and I feel it's a choreography that I do with the actors, and it moves a lot in this film. It's a dance. And also during the audition process, during the casting, I had a small camera, but I was like finding Nahema Ricci, who plays the lead character. Like I was filming her, and I was finding her that way too, like of like what she like. There's something special that she has that I felt could almost become mythical. So yeah. So and to me it's you mentioned art, but to me film is art in a global sense. Also the color, the light, So I wanted it all to be coherent.
It definitely achieves that in my eyes. So one of the things I forgot to mention is that this film is the Canada's submission for foreign language film for the Oscars. That's amazing. So that's incredible. How does that feel? And do you think that that's gonna, help you kind of get more eyes on your film? And
It definitely did in Canada, because the film was released in Quebec last Friday, and I see like people are kind of full of hope, as if I was an athlete going to the Olympics, and so they are behind me, and I feel the love and they are. and also what I really appreciate is that I feel they are proud of showing those values, like to represent Canada. So even if it's also we're questioning how the system works, like, but people have, that most of them, they don't have a problem with that. They feel it belongs to them, and it's their set of values as well, and they feel proud of showing their country that way. So that's the first step, like in Canada, and now I'm here. Thank you. And to me, being in Los Angeles is the first step towards this Oscar race.
So if you're a voting member of the Academy. Well, thank you so much for your time. We really, really appreciate it. And there's another screening of your film. So, there's another screening tomorrow. So please tell your friends, your family, everybody you know. Thank you so much. And don't forget to vote. So, have your ballot. Thank you.